Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the Rome Artifact. This board features good old-fashioned camber, so from contact point to contact point you got that arc of traditional camber, which is going to give you the load, pop, snap, and drive of this snowboard. This board is available in 147, 150, 153, 156, 152 wide, 155 wide. I rode this board at Copper Mountain on a day that started off being sunny and bluebird, then the clouds rolled in. You had average to slightly warmer temps. It was spring, so you had slush, chunder, ice, soft creamy snow, firm fast groomers, kind of a mix of everything, and it really just sort of depended on how the sun sat on that snow. And I rode it with my Rome Black Label bindings and my K2 Thraxis boots. This is your standard run-of-the-mill jib stick with camber, which means it's a jib stick with pop. So what you get is softer tip and tail, stiffer midsection with a lot of torsional flex. Overall, the flex is below a middle of the road. It's not a full-blown jib noodle, but it's not just one of those well-balanced park boards. Now, when it comes to stability, yeah, there's chatter out in the nose and the tail. You will feel it underfoot. In really rutted out terrain, you're gonna feel it even more, so keep your knees bent. And when you encounter speed, this thing can get a little wily on you. So once again, keep those knees bent. Now, while this board is traditional camber and you are gonna have to load it to get it to pop, it still feels like skate-like pop to it due to how soft the tip and the tail are. So when you really engage this board and roll back to pop off the tail, there's no fight to it. And the snap is highly abundant. You got that rod out in the tail and the nose that just rebounds and gives you that spring and snap to it. You want to launch a side hit, go for it. You're going off a cat track gap, go for it. You're eyeing a family of fat skier kids, go for it. And when it comes to jumps, small to medium are this board's strong suit. You notice that it pops off the lip with ease. It's got that snap that's predictable to it. It's got enough stability when you come down. You don't really have to worry about it washing out. Now, anything bigger than, say, 25, 30 feet, you're probably going to have some issues with it. So land bolts, or maybe just don't hit that sized feature. I don't know. It's up to you. You're an adult. Make your decisions. So this board's known for buttering and jibbing. Let's just be honest. That's what the history of the artifact is. So how does it play into it being camber and having double kick in the nose and the tail these days? Well, the dynamic of how you butter on this board has changed. You want to get your weight way out towards that contact point and really press into it. That's when you're going to notice that the double kick takes over. That first part of the tail up kick, which is why they call it double kick, is going to act almost like a rocker, and you're going to be able to press into that and really lock in, and you're going to feel it lock in. Now, if you're really aggressive, you can get way out on that thin section right out at the tip and the tail to really leverage your weight out if you want to. Most of you probably will not do that. Now, with that said, this is a board that when you're locked in, you're going to be able to butter with it, but that camber profile is going to fight you. It wants to pop out of it, so be aware of that. You can get sideways, you can sit outside the binding on the nose or the tail and just slide, but you're going to have that rod in there wanting to rebound in with that camber, which is going to give you that snap, so be aware of that pop that it's going to have. You want to swizzle and sizzle? You're going to have to bring your A game. If you're more laid back and lazy, it might be a little bit too much for you. Now, when it comes to jibbing, this board locks into presses, and like I said, you got that double kick, which almost acts like a rocker, and when you land in a tail or nose press, you can feel that activate and just lock in. That's your sweet spot. Bar none, that's your sweet spot. And then that camber section takes over and gives you that pop off the end of the feature. Then when you get sideways on a feature, this board really does caress it hard. It's a deep embrace right around that feature. It doesn't fully clap out, which is nice, but if you did do an aggressive disaster, it may clap out on you. So when you're all the way wrapped around, it's going to slide fine. It pops off the thing with ease. It's a jib board. This is what this board is known for. You have to bring your A game with a camber jib board. You can't be as lazy as with something that's flat to rocker or full reverse or hybrid or whatever, With those types of boards, you can just lean back, lean forward, you're in a nose press, tail press. With this one, you gotta be a little more calculated. If you're a lazy rider, you might wanna look at something like the gangplank over this. But if you understand how to be more calculated, how camber actually works, you're not gonna have a problem with it. So first and foremost, it's a jib stick. We've already pretty much proven that. So there's gonna be limitations with how this board carves. It's smooth and fluid edge to edge, but not quick and nimble. You can actually feel how it engages off the nose, and then you steer it more underfoot, which is nice. It's great for short, tight, quick setup turns or medium mellow carves. Not to say you can't lay it over when you want to, because you can, I did. But when you do, you've got to really center flex the board and engage that back through the tail to drive it. And you do have that rod back there to give you a little more power out of the turn, but you'll discover the limitations when you do lay it over. It's just not what it's designed for. But for one of those guys that's going around, carving in between features, doing some setup turns, it's fine. You don't have to worry about it. Overall, it's got enough edge hold and power when you need it, but it's a little bit more relaxed and laid back the way you would want it with a deck of this caliber. Who's this board for? The jib-focused, camber-loving park guy. I'm glad to see camber back in the Artifact. I've ridden just about every version of the Artifact since it came out, and while it is still a playful, effortless board that is predictable, it's nice to have that snap of camber in this. Now, with the double kick, I was skeptical of this. I wasn't sure how nuanced it actually was going to be. The way I would describe it is, if you've ridden a camber jib board, you know what you're doing, you're fine. If you've never ridden a camber jib board, this almost acts like a little bit of rocker out in the nose and the tail for presses. It's just like an added little bonus just to push into, and you can get it up on the press that you want it to do, or the butter. It works. It's not like the most mind-blowing technology. It does make for a unique ride on it, but it does actually work. Overall, the Artifact never really disappoints. Comparable boards: the Ride Kink, the Capita Scotty Stevens, the Nitro T1. Binding recommendations: the Rome Vice, the Flux DS, the Union Contact Pro. This has been my review of the Rome Artifact. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own one? Are you going to buy one? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this snowboard. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really like what we're doing over here and you want to support us further, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.